Welcome to the Mystery Pathway. Dust motes danced gracefully in the single ray of sunlight piercing the attic's gloom. Musty air hung heavy, thick with the scent of forgotten things and memories. Boxes overflowed with memories, each one a portal to a bygone era, waiting to be rediscovered. It was in this forgotten realm that the old VHS tape lay hidden, tucked away in a dusty corner, untouched for years. Its label, faded with time, simply read Summer '87.
Curiosity piqued. We huddled around the flickering screen of an ancient VCR, its presence a jarring contrast to our modern lives. The tape whirred to life, revealing grainy images of children playing in a sun-drenched backyard full of joy. Laughter echoed from the speakers, a bittersweet reminder of carefree days long gone.
A woman, her features blurred by time and technology, smiled warmly at the camera, capturing a moment of happiness. A picnic blanket overflowed with treats, and a dog chased butterflies in the distance, adding to the scene's charm. It was the epitome of idyllic family life, frozen in time, a snapshot of pure joy. As the tape rolled on, a subtle shift occurred, almost imperceptible at first. The sun, once high in the sky, began its descent, casting long, ominous shadows across the yard, stretching further. The laughter, once joyous and carefree, took on a strained, almost hysterical edge, echoing eerily.
The children's games grew increasingly erratic, their movements tinged with an unsettling urgency and chaos. A palpable sense of unease seeped into the room, replacing the initial warmth with a creeping, pervasive chill.
The camera lingered on a swing set, swaying gently in the gathering gloom, almost hauntingly. No one was pushing it, yet it moved with a slow, deliberate rhythm, as if propelled by an unseen hand. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves in the trees and creating an eerie whispering sound in the background. The dog, once a playful puppy, whined softly, its tail tucked between its legs, trembling slightly. The light continued to fade, plunging the scene into an unsettling twilight. The once vibrant colors of the day leached away, replaced by a sickly palette of greens and yellows. The footage itself seemed to distort, the images warping and rippling as if the tape itself were struggling to contain the darkness within.
A high-pitched whine emanated from the speakers, punctuated by bursts of static. The children huddled together now, their faces obscured by the deepening shadows. Their voices, barely audible above the crackling audio, were high-pitched and filled with a terror we couldn't quite decipher.
The camera zoomed in on the woman, her smile now replaced by a look of dawning horror. Her eyes, wide and unblinking, stared directly into the lens, as if pleading for help. The tape began to move faster, the images flashing by in a disorienting blur.
The children's laughter, now distorted and grotesque, echoed through the room like the cries of tortured souls.
The camera spun wildly, capturing glimpses of contorted figures darting through the trees, their forms shifting and changing like creatures from a nightmare.
Then, just as suddenly as it began, the chaotic movement ceased.
The camera focused on a single point in the distance, the image flickering and unstable.
A figure emerged from the shadows, tall and gaunt, its features obscured by the darkness.
It moved with an unnatural grace, gliding rather than walking, its eyes two glowing embers in the night. A blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, sharp and raw, echoing through the night.
The camera lurched violently, the image twisting into a grotesque parody of the happy scene from just moments before, now a nightmare.
The woman's face, contorted in a silent scream, filled the screen, her eyes wide with terror, frozen in a moment of pure horror.
But it was not her fear that chilled us to the bone. It was something far more sinister.
It was the reflection staring back at her from the depths of her pupils, a haunting presence.
A face, inhuman and grotesque, leered back at us, its features twisted into a mockery of a smile, a visage of pure evil.
Its eyes, cold and black, seemed to bore into our very souls, as if reaching out from the screen to claim us for its own, an unrelenting gaze.
The scream continued, rising in pitch and intensity until it was almost unbearable, a crescendo of terror.
Then, as abruptly as it began, the tape went dead, leaving us in a deafening silence.